Welcome back to In the Hoop, a weekly show where we'll keep you in the loop about all things UNCW basketball. We've got a great show for you today with a look back at last weekend's Seahawks hoops. We start with women's basketball. The women had a disappointing 0-2 weekend to add to their 4-game losing skid. The weekend started with another slow start on Friday, looking lackadaisical against Elon. Coach Woods took full responsibility, saying the team simply wasn't ready. However, it was not all bad. In the second half, the Seahawks fought back, turning a 20-point deficit early in the third quarter into an 8-point deficit in the fourth quarter. They didn't roll over like I've seen UNCW do in previous seasons. They kept fighting until the final buzzer, but ultimately couldn't complete the comeback, losing 70-56. On Sunday, however, it was a different story. It was senior day, so Ali Zelaya, Isis Fitch, Jania Hall, and Evan Miller were all honored pregame. The team played well. We had 4 players in double figures, and they went 8 of 16 from three-point range. However, the story of the season has been rebounds and turnovers. And while Charleston had 18 turnovers in the game, they also had 53 rebounds compared to UNCW's 29. Despite shooting 32% from the field, Charleston's 31 offensive rebounds led them to a 64-61 victory. After these losses, the team dropped to 12-14 on the season and 6-7 in league play. The women have 5 regular season games left, including a trip to Charleston and a home-and-home with the #1 team in the conference, North Carolina A&T. It will be tough, but I believe in this team to end the season strong and head into the tournament with real momentum for the first time in years. Moving on to men's basketball, the men held the biggest home game of their season when Charleston came to town. The scene was electric at Trask Coliseum as 5,200 screaming fans crowded in. The game may have started at 7, but the party started hours earlier. Students began lining up around noon, and the line continued to grow as we neared tip-off. Seahawks Central Sports was able to hang out with those students and get some interviews, help hype up the crowd, and let some of our students show off their mini-hoop skills. As always, it was a ruckus environment, and that energy carried over as the game started. We had 3 straight buckets for UNCW and a missed free throw from Charleston big man Anton Brezovic. The crowd stayed loud and proud all night, never letting Charleston have a moment to think. As someone who has been to just about every home game for the past 4 years, I'm willing to say that is the loudest I've ever heard Trask Coliseum. As for the game itself, Charleston fought hard, but UNCW simply outplayed them at every turn. Charleston shot 42% from the field, but UNCW shot 51%. Charleston had 9 points from turnovers, but UNCW had 12. But the biggest difference was down low. Charleston had 27 rebounds, UNCW had 43. Charleston had 32 points in the paint, UNCW had 46. Charleston's starting big man had 13 and 8. UNCW's starting big man had 16 and 12 on 100% shooting from the field. Oh, and UNCW's backup big man also had 16 points. Shout out to Harlan and Kamari. At the end of the day, UNCW just out-hustled and outworked Charleston at every turn. They didn't know what to do once they entered the Coliseum of Chaos. For those keeping score, that is 4 straight wins over Charleston and 9 of the last 12, and a 5-3 record for Coach Siddle against the Cougars. Speaking of whom, congratulations to our own Coach Siddle on scoring his 100th career victory against Charleston. Congrats on the first 100 wins, Coach, and here's to the next 100. Unfortunately, the Seahawks could not keep this momentum rolling as they picked up their 3rd CAA loss of the season on Saturday to a very talented Elon team. Elon shot 55% from 3 on the night, and the Seahawks simply couldn't keep up, leading to a disappointing 81-70 loss. However, the Seahawks are still 21-6 on the season, notching their 4th consecutive 20-win season and 11-13 in conference play, which is 2nd in the lead, with Charleston way down there at 5th. Well, that wraps up today's episode of In the Hoop, but be sure to follow at Seahawks Central Sports _UNCW on Instagram to see my post-game reactions and all our content about UNCW basketball. And come back next week for more Hoops Talk. We'll see you then.